This is Cutting Down the Nets, Thursday, February 2nd. Got a lot of games at the top, showing teams that have improved their efficiency over the last month and their shot quality ranking over the last month. That's a recipe for winning some bets. So, let's get to the schedule. For the year at 52%, not as good as last year, but we are climbing our way back. Here on this show, we're going to talk efficiency and shot quality. You will never hear me utter the words reverse line movement, the public is on. No, just straight what's happened and what's gone into the quality of shots as well. I've only made one bet so far, but I'm about to fire the cannon. So process-wise, what I do is I identify plays using recent efficiencies. Basically, who is playing the best, adjusted for opponent. I then pick it apart the best I can. Is it due to three-point shooting variance? Is it due to a run in the schedule? Are there bad situational spots? All those sorts of things. But one of the main ones is, are they just getting lucky? Meaning, has the quality of their shots gone down or stayed the same, and they just happen to be hitting more shots? And tonight, we have quite a few that both the results and the process are trending, which I think is fantastic. Another note, process-wise, how I bet. I identify my games. If I feel like those lines are going to move, I would bet them before they move. How would I guess? Look, Circa is your friend. Go to any odds screen, and if you see a game that you're targeting, so for instance, I have all my targets kind of queued up here. UL Monroe is currently 2.5 at almost every book. There's a few twos at the time of this video. Those twos are juiced up though, so it's basically 2.5s. In about a half hour, Circa will release their lines. If they have UL Monroe -3, -3.5, I would lock in a 2.5 at a different book as fast as possible. If Circa drops a -2, you just kind of monitor that and see what happens. Two things can happen. What typically happens is the books end up agreeing and all other books migrate towards Circa. But in some cases, Circa takes, big bets because they have big limits and customers that know how to gamble. And they may move their 2, in that case, to a 4 very, very quickly. So you just kind of play that game, but Circa is my North Star. And then I basically am using them to find value at any other book you would have access to. So let's get right to it. Pepperdine Pacific is first. Recent efficiency has this game Pacific -10. Again, I use this directionally. Identifying value on the Pacific side, not necessarily Pacific's going to win by 10, like no brainer. I'm just saying, based on how these teams have played the last 6 to 15 games, the outcome is projected to be closer to 10 points than the current spread of 2. Shot quality. What I do there is I take their team standings, which is free. Everything else, I think, costs like $3,000. So I take their team standings, but I save that throughout the year. So I can reference the standings from December 25th, January 4th, and compare them to current. So what we have here is a matchup that I can't find anything that really stands out to talk me out of it. Like, I don't see a lot of three-point variance. I don't see a lot of regression due to either side. And what we have is on December 28th, Pacific was 213th in shot quality. As of this morning, they're 166. So you have the efficiency improvement and the shot quality improvement translating to some value on that side, in my opinion. Another note, I'm a straight line bettor. So I don't bet more or less on certain games versus others. I identify my bets, and everything's a one-unit play for me. Okay, game number 2. Coastal Carolina, UL Monroe. Current standings, Coastal is 253rd in shot quality, UL Monroe is 218th. UL Monroe, on December 28th, was 326th. So not only is the efficiency showing, but the quality of shots ULM is taking is showing. Now, ULM does have a flaw. They have turnover concerns. They don't protect the basketball very well. Luckily for them, Coastal Carolina is 329th in turnovers forced, but there still are some slight defensive rebounding concerns. They could give up some offensive rebounds to Coastal, but overall, I like this spread as well as a short favorite. Next up, Jacksonville State, Eastern Kentucky. Was hoping this would be more like 6.5 points, which was the soft opener. So this is a decent sized number to lay, but all data points are right there. I wouldn't be surprised if Circa's a little lighter here, though, when that comes out. So this may not be one I'm betting right away. But the data agrees. Eastern Kentucky has gone from 183rd to 164th in the last month or so. And they have some turnover upside as well, as Jacksonville State can cough up the ball and Eastern Kentucky can force some turnovers. You always want more possessions, the extra points, the extra possessions, offensive rebounds and turnovers. If you can win those battles, you're just going to shoot more shots than your opponent. I think the other night I had Texas A&M shoot 27 more shots than Arkansas and not cover. The shot quality results come in the next day and Arkansas should have lost that game by 16 points and they won by 9. Shit didn't work out, but give me the side that's going to shoot way more shots and have way more opportunities to score. All right, game number 4, Georgia Southern at Georgia State. There is some turnover upside for Georgia Southern here too. This is a slow-paced game. Shot quality has this very, very close to a pick'em. The spread is close to a pick'em, but Georgia Southern has moved up a little bit in the shot quality rankings. This is more an efficiency play and a little bit of some matchup upside that I like on the Georgia Southern side. Next up, Santa Clara Gonzaga. Look, there's always risk of getting run out of the kennel, but I think we have seen enough evidence that Gonzaga is a good basketball team. They are not the elite Gonzaga teams that we have been used to. And there's been years where they were clear analytic number 1 overall team. Not the case this year. On the Santa Clara side, they've seen their ranking move up a little bit in shot quality, and we've seen Gonzaga slide a little bit in shot quality, but where that puts them today is 51st is the shot quality ranking for Santa Clara, and 28 is the shot quality ranking for Gonzaga, and we're talking 13.5 points here. So, I'm interested in that game. Cal State Fullerton comes in at 126 in shot quality, Long Beach 151. So overall, this is pretty much in line with the market, but recent efficiency favors Cal State Fullerton. However, the Beach has been very unlucky from 3. Cal State Fullerton's run a little hot, so regression is a little bit of a concern here compared to the other games I've mentioned so far. Still interested in it, still see it as that side I want to be on, but I think that one has more concerns than other ones I've mentioned so far. Next up, we have Tennessee Martin against SIU Edwardsville. This is not as much a play on Tennessee Martin as it is a play against SIU Edwardsville. Edwardsville has gone from 167th to 247th in shot quality, while being 224 in KenPom. So they were kind of undervalued. They've swung the other way and now overvalued. UT Martin's right there in line, so getting more than 2 possessions here. Again, doesn't always work out, but that's the side I want to be on there. Next up is a stinky Cal State Bakersfield team. They're awful. Not very good. Kind of frustrating. But here's the story with Riverside. They're 15-7, but they have a negative efficiency margin. That means their adjusted defense is actually higher than their adjusted offense. If they played the average NCAA team 22 times, you'd expect them to have a losing record, and they stand at 15-7. So I think they are a bit overvalued. Again, this is a stinky team to back, so I'm hoping for as many points as possible. Currently sits at 7.5. Marshall App State. I remember early in the year, Marshall was defending really well. And I'm like, Jeez. If Marshall's going to defend, that's scary. Marshall stopped defending. Is pretty much what happened. So, look, I value these teams very close together. Marshall's adjusted shot quality defense in the last 9 games is like 1.04. But I do think we can do better than 3. I think that line could come up a bit. That's the hope for me there. These orange games are they're under consideration, but I'm not likely to play, and I'll just quickly explain why. So, recent shot quality has Detroit as -5. Year-to-date shot quality is more like 3. So the line's kind of split, right, between Paddy and shot quality. So, not on a slate like today. Cal and Colorado. Cal sucks, and they always show as like a play. They're kind of like Minnesota, where, the line's 15 and Minnesota should only lose by 12 here, and then they'll lose by 28. That's Cal. They recently got back one of their scorers. Don't think it helped. And look, Colorado laying 15.5 is insane, but it's tough to back Cal at this stage. Even if all those data points agree, I'd want to see a bigger number to jump on Cal. The Bison at the Yotes, it's okay. It's just a little thin, 3.5 points of value. And I don't know. Sometimes those home teams in the Summit League can just crush. So that's on the radar again. Line movement would swing me. Maybe seeing Better I Respect, saying, oh yeah, this is the game for the Bison. All those things can kind of factor into those secondary plays for myself. Stonehill, this line's right between Paddy and shot quality. Southern Indiana, I like this a lot, but 7.5 is a lot to lay. If that fell closer to 6, I think that would line up with my stuff nicely. A&M, Corpus Christi, and New Orleans are some bad teams. I would just skip that on a slate like this. North Alabama, Stetson. Little value on the Stetson side in terms of the recent shot quality number. Year to date disagrees a bit, but there's something there. It's pretty thin down here. Oakland, I'm willing to take a chance on Oakland. I think that is, when you look at those profiles, you'll see first half of the season Oakland and second half of the season Oakland. And second half is doing far better. It's also nice to see a little shot quality bump in the last month as well. Other orange games I'm just going to skip over, and I'll highlight San Diego yet again, showing as a value. Those games always end up close to the line, but that's on my radar. They're at -2 right now. Something I am monitoring. So here's what I got. Left side, I think I'm playing these games no matter what. It ultimately comes down to where and at what number. And then I would put Oakland and San Diego on my radar. And then, as you saw, some of the orange can come into play. That happened today, I think. When I posted my stuff yesterday, East Tennessee State was getting like a point and a half against Wofford at home. That became 3.5 this afternoon, and that moved it from kind of off my radar to not only on my radar, but a full-on play. So, with that said, good luck, everybody. The spreadsheet I just walked through is posted daily at Twitter handle CDTN_Paddy. And anytime I place a bet, I log it on BetStamp. You can look at my trends, last 7, full year, 2 years snapshot, whatever you want to do. User ID CDTN. Thanks for stopping by. This is Cutting Down the Net.